Hi friends, E.C. Maltbia here, Senior Pastor of the True Holiness Saints Center in the beautiful city of Conway, Arkansas. And you know what time it is. It is Wednesday Word time. So what is our Wednesday Word for tonight, Pastor Maltbia? Our Wednesday Word is drama. More specifically, I want to talk to you about the unnecessary drama that many of us have in our life. So what is drama, Pastor Maltbia? The Urban Dictionary defines drama as the following: unnecessary emotional turmoil. Drama. Drama is the breeding ground, ma'ams and sirs, for stress and anxiety. Drama drains us emotionally and it wears us out physically. Drama is also the culprit behind much of the gossip, hurt feelings, and offenses that we have in our life. And most drama stems from people who blow things out of proportion. And the worst part about drama is that most of it could be avoided. And so what I want to do tonight is to tell you 3 things you need to know to help you to eliminate unnecessary drama from your life. So if you want to eliminate unnecessary drama, that breeding ground for stress and anxiety, the first thing you need to know is you need to know, ma'ams and sirs, when you're being used. Yeah, you need to know. You need to have enough spiritual discernment to know when you're being used. Jesus commands us in Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, the latter part of the verse from the King James says these words. Jesus says, "And pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you." That phrase, despitefully use, at its core really means to intentionally misuse or to intentionally harm someone. Jesus says, pray for those who despitefully, intentionally misuse you. These are the type of people in your life who are opportunists. They are opportunists masquerading as your friends. So what are some warning signs that people are using you? Number 1, they only contact you during times of crisis or in times of convenience. These are the people who only contact you when something is going wrong in their life and they're desperately in need of help. These are the people who contact you only after they have exhausted every other option. Opportunists, people who use you, only contact you in times of crisis and in times of convenience. You're their only option left. But another sign of people who use you, even in the church, these are people who are conveniently absent when you need them the most. These are the people who refuse to reciprocate the kindness that you have shown them over time. Opportunists, people who masquerade to be your friends, only contact you in crisis and convenience, and they're never around when you need them. When you need a helping hand, they will ghost you or they will ignore you. When you need a helping hand, they will always come up with an excuse for why they cannot help. If you're going to avoid the unnecessary drama in your life, you've got to be able to spiritually discern the people in your life that simply use you. And here's another thing I found about these opportunists, these people who intentionally use you. They are the very ones that get an attitude when you tell them no. I don't care how many times you bend over backwards for them. I don't care how many times you've gone out of your way for them. The moment you decline one of their requests, you're automatically the bad guy. The moment you decline one of their requests, regardless of how inconvenient, inconsiderate, and unreasonable their request is, you become the bad guy and they get an attitude. But always remember, Jesus both loved and prayed for those who despitefully used him. But don't get it twisted. According to John chapter 2 and verse 24, the Bible says, but Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people. He would not entrust himself. In other words, Jesus had spiritual discernment. And once he discerned that a person's heart or their motives were not right, he would not entrust himself to them, meaning he would not put himself in a position that he had to rely on them. And I want you to know, you can avoid a lot of unnecessary drama in your life that brings anxiety, frustration, and offenses if you stop relying on opportunists that use you. Not only do you need to know who's using you, but secondly, you need to know when you're being rejected. Yeah. Even as Christians, we need to know when people are intentionally rejecting us. In Luke chapter 9, verses 53 through 55, the Bible says, but the people there did not welcome Jesus because he was headed for Jerusalem. When the disciples, James and John, saw this, they asked Jesus, Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven and destroy them? But Jesus turned and rebuked them. Here's what I know for sure, ma'ams and sirs. Rejection hurts. I don't care how spiritually mature you are. I don't care how old you are. Rejection hurts. It hurts when people ignore your messages, but other people can get in touch with them easily. It hurts when people invite everybody else in your social circle to an event or an occasion, but they intentionally leave you out. It hurts when people always choose other people over you. One thing I know, even as a pastor, is that rejection hurts. But when you're rejected, my advice to you is this: remember who you are and remember who you are. In other words, you need to always remember that you're a child of God. You're a child of the Most High. And you don't have to chase after people. You don't have to beg people to accept you. You deserve, as a child of God, to be valued based upon what you bring to the table. Therefore, as a child of God, even when people are rejecting you, you've got to pray and you've got to be patient. Don't settle and resist the urge to retaliate like James and John wanted to. Because if you continue to be patient and if you refuse to settle, sooner or later God will reveal your tribe, your people, your connection to you. If you want to avoid unnecessary drama in 2025, there's some things you need to know. First of all, you need to know and be able to identify the people in your life that are using you, that don't mean you any good. You need to recognize and know the people who are rejecting you and don't mean you any good. And finally tonight, you need to know the people who love you. You need to know when you're being loved. Proverbs 17:17 says these words: a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Here's what I know. If we want to avoid unnecessary drama in our life, we've got to learn to invest the majority of our time, attention, and energy on those people in our life that genuinely love us, that genuinely care about us, that genuinely want the best for us. So what are some of the indicators, Pastor Maltbia, that someone genuinely cares about you for all the right reasons? Number one, These people will always correct you in private, but they'll also cover you in public. They're not going to embarrass you. These are the type of people who choose grace over gossip when you make a mistake. They're not going to talk about you behind your back. They're not going to talk about you around people, and they're not going to sit back and allow people to talk about you in their presence. Yes, they will correct you, but they will do it appropriately privately. But they'll always cover you, have your back publicly. Another sign that a person genuinely cares about you is that they're there for you in the difficult seasons of your life. When you're going through, they don't run away. They don't ghost you. They're right there to stand beside you. And what I like most about the people who care about you, a true telltale sign that they care about you is this. These are the people who celebrate you when you win. In fact, let me pause real quick and give you our social media quote. What is the social media quote, Pastor Maltbia? It is simply a thought or thesis that we encourage you to put out on all your social media platforms for information and inspiration. But here it is tonight. True friends rejoice when you rise. Yeah. True friends rejoice when you rise. Listen, I got to get out of here. But true friends, they're not trying to compete with you. They're not trying to outdo you. True friends, they're not hating on you or jealous of you when you win. True friends are genuinely happy for you and help you to succeed. Our Wednesday word tonight is very simple: drama. Specifically, we're talking about the unnecessary drama we go through in our life. If in 2025, June 2025, and the latter part of the year, if you want to eliminate unnecessary drama in your life, 3 things. Know who's using you, know who's rejecting you, and know who's loving on you. Until we speak again, my friends, be blessed.